Hi, we're back for another topic. For this presentation, we'll learn what is education's purpose, its historical roles and goals. Today's education system operates in a scheme that allows students to work during semestral break, an hour and 15 minutes classroom period, and a list of curriculum subjects invented in the Middle Ages, such as language, math, science, and the arts. It's useful to take a brief look at how this came about and what education's role has been in ages past, before turning to what education means for us now and in the future. What do a one room school in a rural farming village, a crowded classroom in a bustling industrial city, a shiny new school in a high tech suburban zone have in common? What have we expected from our schools through time? I'd like to show you pictures of classrooms around the world. On your left, it's a picture taken, all these pictures are actually downloaded from Google. And this one is a picture of a classroom taken in the United States. The bottom one is a classroom in one of the universities in India. And on your right, top right, is a classroom in the Philippines. And bottom below here on the right side is a shot that was taken from a classroom in Korea. So, what do you think is the purpose of the professors teaching this class? And what do you think are the motivations of students attending this class? Education plays four universal roles in the society's evolving stage. It empowers us to contribute to work in society. It exercises and develops our personal talents. It fulfills our civic responsibilities and carry our traditions and values forward. These are the great expectations, the big returns that we want from our investments in education. These four pillars of education's purpose remain constant through time, much like the psychology's Abraham Maslow's universal hierarchy of needs, which starts with physical needs, moving up to safety needs and social needs, then respect and knowledge, and culminates in the self realization and self transcendence. But how people go about meeting these four universal needs in different times and ages varies tremendously. In the agrarian age, when farming the land was a primary work of society, as it is still in the many parts of the world, contributing to society meant learning how to grow food for more than your family. Passing on the knowledge, traditions, and crafts of rural life to your children was an essential survival need. Children worked in the fields next to their parents and other family members, and education beyond farming skills was not a high priority. Civic responsibilities revolved around doing what you could do to help your neighbors and others in your village when they were in need, as they would help you when you were in need. The social compact was simple and practical. In the industrial age, when the population dramatically shifted from farm to city and work moved from the fields to the factories, education played new roles in society. Typically, men had one or two career paths: working in a trade, factory, or clerical job, or becoming a manager, administrator, or professional if they could make the grade. Women's choices were, of course, far fewer. The real challenge for industry was to train as many factory and trade workers as possible. So, standardization, uniformity, and mass production were important to both the factory and the classroom. Those few destined for managerial or professional work were given special learning opportunities to develop their potential. Engineering and science skills, the new engines for industrial growth, were particularly prized, along with the management and financial skills necessary to keep the industrial complex running smoothly. And with a great mixing of cultures in urban centers, people became more aware of traditions different from their own. We have here a table, Society's Educational Goals Throughout the Ages, to show us the different education goals for each age, namely Agrarian Age, Industrial Age, and Knowledge Age. For the first goal of education, contribute to work and society. People during the Agrarian Age are expected to grow food for family and others. Growing food would mean knowing how to plant, not only for the family's needs, but also for other people, such as neighbors. Second, create tools and crafts for basic needs. During the agrarian or agricultural age, people need some farming tools such as rake, axe, and shovel. And because goods are limited then, people are also expected to know how to create these tools for their farming needs. And some crafts that people are learning during that time is how to weave a basket or maybe how to create a straw brooms that they can use for cleaning. The third is to participate in a local cottage economy. When we say local cottage economy, it means a small business during that time. And this business is shared within community. Like I have previously mentioned, the cottage economy would mean like coming up with crafts such as wooden basket or the, the straw brooms. Moving to the industrial age, people are expected to serve society through a specialized profession and knowledge work. So, how do you serve the society? So, if you are maybe working in a company in the production line and you're part of assembling a good or goods for the benefit of the community, then you are serving the society in your simple way by participating in that particular industry. Or maybe you have chosen to become a manager who is responsible for managing and leading people in a company or in a manufacturing plant. Second is to apply engineering and science to contribute to industrial progress. Um, Applying engineering and science would mean knowing how to do some engineering work such as planning or layouting a bridge, or maybe science would mean constructing like a bridge or a road that can be used for the nation's progress. And third, contribute one piece of a long chain of production and contribution. As I have previously said, when we contribute one piece of a long chain, it can be that you are part of an assembly line. Like, for example, you are responsible for assembling like parts of car in order to produce an automobile. Or maybe you are responsible for taking quality control into a goods that about to be distributed to the market. And moving to the knowledge age, the first goal would be to contribute to global information. So, how do you contribute to global information? You have to know how to use technology to contribute to global information. And for you to spread or disseminate the information globally, you have to have the access to something that will spread it worldwide. And the second one is to innovate new services to meet needs and solve problems. What are the needs of the times? People would like to be served fast, efficiently, and effectively. So maybe your contribution would be innovating like a mechanized service that will speed up. Let's say, for example, order taking, maybe the creation of a point of sale system or a creation of an automated ordering system for a restaurant. And also participate in the global economy. How can you participate in a global economy? If you belong to this knowledge age, participation in a global economy would mean you can be a simple entrepreneur who has a business startup, or maybe you have more capital to invest on a business. So you might be uh, you might want to set up maybe like a global company, such as skincare line, or maybe a coffee shop. Okay, so moving on to the next goal: exercise and develop personal talents. So how do people exercise and develop personal talents during the different ages? In the agrarian age, first is people has to learn the basic 3 R's, known as the reading, writing, and arithmetic. And my apologies, the spelling is not this, but in order for us to have a quick recall of the basic 3 R's, they just said writing and arithmetic. So there's a missing W here and a missing A here. So basic would mean for us to survive that agrarian age. We also our people are also expected to learn farming and craft skills. So even though you are educated at that time, because we have to eat and we have to know, we have to eat, so the source of our food would be coming from the farm. And so people are expected to learn how to farm and to learn how to make some craft skills. And also, they are expected to use tools to create useful artifacts, such as knowing how to maybe make use of the hammer, know how to make use of maybe a blower, or maybe a sharpener for knife sharpening. In the industrial age, the goal is to achieve basic literacy and numeracy. So basic literacy would mean people can read, people can write, and people can compute, like adding or maybe subtracting, multiplying, simple math. And this goal is for many people as possible. Another goal would be to learn factory, trade, and industry job skills. So for most people, in order for them to sustain their basic or daily living, they have to learn how to work. And working then would mean learning how to do factory work, such as being in assembly line, or in or doing some things, or maybe knowing how to do some industry job skills, such as maybe mining, or another job skill would be sewing, okay, for most people. And third, learn managerial and administrative skills, like leading or managing people, or maybe running a business, okay. And for a few people, they're expected to practice engineering and science. So people can become engineers or scientists, or maybe a creator of something. Moving to the knowledge age, first goal is to enhance personal development with technology powered knowledge and productivity tools. So, when we say personal development, this is improving maybe yourself, how to look good during an interview, how to prepare for interview questions, or maybe how to acquire another skill like a language skill, or maybe learning how to drive. And so, because we are in the knowledge age, we can access information. So, since the access to information is free, then there's no excuse not to enhance our personal development. or not to enhance ourselves. Okay? The second would be to take advantage of expanded global opportunities for knowledge work and entrepreneurship as the middle class grows. What does it mean? Taking advantage of expanded global opportunities for knowledge work would mean working overseas. It would mean working as an expat, leading a company, or maybe supervising a production line. And as an entrepreneur, you probably would like to bring your business to another part of the world and have it also uh, serve the products that you're doing from here. And because of the growing middle class, the lifestyle is also growing. Now, the third is to use knowledge tools and technology to continue learning and develop talents throughout life. What are knowledge tools? As I always say, you always have the access to technology such as your smartphone. You always have the access to downloading application that will help you continue learn and maybe develop yourself so that you can be more competitive when you go join the workplace. And the next goal is fulfill civic responsibilities. When we say fulfill civic responsibilities or having a full civic responsibilities in the agrarian age, you are expected to help the neighbors. Helping the neighbors maybe by farming or maybe extending yourself for anything that would be of service to other people. The second is contribute to local village needs. So, if you know how to farm, if you know how to harvest, and it's harvest season, and a certain family needs more people to help them do the harvesting, then maybe you can contribute to that village needs. And the third would be to support essential local services and community celebrations. What are essential local services? Maybe conducting a meeting for the whole community, or maybe celebrating like a feast, or maybe celebrating a wedding or having a wedding in one family. So, those are the expectations during the agrarian age when it comes to civic responsibilities. Moving to international age, the first industrial age. First is to participate in social and civic organizations to benefit the community. What are social organizations? Social associations can be like a neighborhood association, or civic would mean like being a leader in a community and helping people how to probably get information or get some knowledge that will help them to improve their life. Okay. Second is to participate in organized labor and political activities. Participating in organized labor would mean the freedom to organize a labor union and express your sentiments as laborers to the management. And when we say political activities, an example of this would be exercising your right to vote for leaders. And the third would be to contribute to local and regional civic improvement through volunteerism and philanthropy. What is volunteerism? This is an act of volunteering, an act of giving yourself to help other community, like for example building a school, or maybe teaching your language to another group of people. And being a philanthropist would mean showing concern for the welfare of others, like you have a lot of money to spare to other people, and so instead of keeping that in the bank, and you have the call to help other people, maybe what you do would be um, giving them part of maybe the profit of your business for their education needs, or for their training needs, or for whatever the community needs. And for the knowledge age, you are expected to participate in community decision making and political activity, but this time it can be online and in person. Community decision, like for example, what we are experiencing right now, the community decision would be to respect the decision of the government to uh, to follow their instruction for social distancing, to follow the instruction for checking self for a certain illness. And political activity would mean exercising again your right as a citizen by voting. Another would be to engage globally in issues through online communities and social networks. What are social issues? Social issues or issues. Online community issues. Number one, that we know is bullying or the cyberbullying, or maybe the proliferation or the spread of fake news. So, how do you take responsibility for helping people not to be bullied, for helping people not to, you know, not to be live in fake news? We have a responsibility towards others. And the third would be the use of communication and social networking tools to contribute time and resources to both local and global causes. What are communication and social networking tools? Examples of this are Facebook, Twitter, Kakao Group, and maybe other social platforms that you can use to contribute your time, meaning spreading, like for example, in case nowadays, spreading news on how to take care of yourself, how to be healthy, even though we have an issue going on, and you're making use of whatever platform you have, whatever platform you own for local and global causes. And for the last goal for education, to carry out traditions and values forward. How do people during the agrarian age achieve these goals? First, by passing on farming knowledge and traditions to the next generation. So, farming has to continue because people eat. And so, if the old people who are attending the farm will definitely not be able to work on the farm anymore, this farming knowledge should be passed to the next generation to continue the farming activity. And also, raise children in the ethnic, religious, and cultural traditions of parents and ancestors. What are ethnic traditions? Maybe for a tribal community, they have rituals for the coming of the new moon, or maybe they have ritual before their harvest time or after harvest time. Religious practices like in Korea, or for Christians would be the observance of Christmas, of Advent, or maybe cultural traditions such as Chuseok or Solal should be passed to the next generation as well. Or children has to be aware that these traditions exist and that they have to continue uh, doing the tradition. And in the industrial age, learn the past knowledge of a trade, craft, or profession and pass this on to the next generation. As we continue to move forward to the next century, as you can see, even during the industrial age, the passing of knowledge is being done, like be it a trade or a craft or a profession, so it's passed to the next generation. In one family, maybe you know that a parent is a manager and they would like their children to become managers as well. Or maybe the parent is a doctor and they would like the children to follow their tradition or their profession of being a doctor. And also, maintain one's own culture and values amid a diversity of traditions in urban life. So, it doesn't mean that We have to let go or we have to change our culture if we are part of a diverse environment. What is unique in a diverse workplace is the uniqueness of every individual. And so you can be unique and at the same time you can be part of a team. And the third, connect with other cultures and geographies as communication and transportation expand. So, how do people do this? So, they connect with other cultures and geographies by visiting their destination, by communicating with the local people. And they use transportation like the airplane to reach that destination. Moving to the knowledge age, it is achieved by quickly learning traditional knowledge in the field and apply its principles across other fields to create new knowledge and innovations. Traditional knowledge in the field would mean knowing how the business goes, like you have a restaurant, and if you know how to manage it and how to run it, maybe because you have new knowledge, you know what are the best practices coming from another country or the best practices of other restaurant owners, then you can come up with some innovation in terms of maybe customer service or food production. Another would be to build identity from and compassion for a wide range of cultures and traditions. If we are to become a global citizen, we have to be compassionate to other people. We have to know how to respect their traditions, and we have to be able to understand these traditions. Also, we are expected to participate in a wide diversity of traditions and multicultural experiences. Wide diversity of traditions would mean there's nothing wrong experiencing other people's tradition. Like, for example, if you're not a Christian and you are celebrating Christmas, that's okay. If you are not a Korean and you're observing Solal and you do the same practice, that's fine. Because, of course, you would like to know how people feel and you would like to experience how things go on in a particular culture. And last would be to blend traditions and global citizenship into new traditions and values to pass on. So, as the world is getting smaller, and when I say smaller, it means that there are no walls, there are no divisions, there are no barriers, and so we become one global community. And becoming one global community would mean the blending of traditions, and this blending of traditions would also mean respect of diversity. And this should be passed on to the next generation for us to achieve a peaceful world and a better world. If you have questions, let's discuss it during our online class. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next presentation.